Good morning, Coolest Coast. It's time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We're your hosts. This is Kristin Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. So good to see you this morning.
Good morning. It looks bright and shiny here, and it is not.
Yeah, don't be misled. It is like gloomy and rainy. And okay, I hate to start the show off with a gripe, but I have to because Kristin, like when you look at the weather app, it's like 46 degrees. Woohoo! And that doesn't sound too bad. Like you sometimes don't even need a jacket when it's 46. But then if you read the fine print, it says feels like 33. I don't understand. Why wouldn't it just say bundle up? It's 33 degrees out there.
Pull all your winter clothes back out and get ready. I know. I'm wearing long sleeves today again. And the other night, Monday night, Josie played softball. She had her first softball game. So exciting. Winter jacket, hoodie, mittens, hat. Like, we
Okay,
could
and what's
not
the
wait to
date? Say the
we could
date out
not
loud. Where
wait
are
to
we in
go
the
home. We were so cold.
So this is not a February conversation, not even a March conversation. Today is May 21st,
I know.
and winter jackets
That's
at a
right.
softball game.
Yes.
Did
Yes.
they win?
They did not win, but they played really well for their first game. And it's just, it's fun for them to start playing. And she's been watching her big sis play since the end of April. And so, it was her chance to start playing. So
Chomping at the bit to get out on the field.
that's right.
Speaking of win, let's see here. What photo do I want to pull
I
up?
was going to say, what's in your arsenal today?
Okay, folks, we were fortunate enough to get to spend some time with Kristin and Doug, and we pulled out the cribbage board along with my parents. And I had to take this shot because Kristin, we've done this a number of times, and it's like the same pattern, and we haven't been able to break the pattern. The guys, my dad, your husband, they win at least two games, and then we'll win like the third and done. But we have yet to best them.
Yeah, we have not had like a full ladies rally night yet.
And it doesn't make sense because we were even talking about when we play them independently. Like I skunked my dad the last time I played him, right? Like you sometimes sweep the board against Doug, and I don't know, together against them together, it just
Last night, Doug and I played after dinner. Two games, sorry. I won two games. The first one I won by a little bit. The second one was very close, but I was like, I don't understand it.
yeah. So
I was
in this picture, you can see Kristin and I were red. My dad and Doug were blue, and that little double line that's like 4 peg holes away, that's the finish line. This is our third game, so that's why I'm taking this photo of Kristin. You can see her in the background with the face because we just didn't know how this was going to turn out, and then and then
and then the universe aligned for us to get a win before we went home. So all was not lost.
one peg separated us, though. Look at that.
I know. And I sat for a long time trying to decide what order to play my cards in. Your dad was like, Kristin, it's your turn. And I was thinking because I really needed to try to get this to work out. And in the end, the way I played it worked because I ended up having twos left. And so we got to peg in before them because
That was
of
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, otherwise we surely would have lost. If you had not have had that masterful move, we would have lost.
So here's the deal though. Time with you guys is never a loss. We laughed so hard. We had so much fun. Miss Diane made banana cream pie, homemade, amazing.
Oh, let's see. I think I've got a picture of that.
Yeah.
So I am not a banana cream pie fan at all, but I can appreciate how incredibly gorgeous. So this is all homemade crust, homemade meringue. Look at how perfectly toasted it is. You can see the little beads on the top.
Yeah. The delicious, custard pudding, it was fabulous. We had yummy snacks. It was super fun. We got to see Teak live and in person. So
The snacks were so good.
that's my sweet and spicy mix. And Mr.
I thought you were talking about Doug.
Yeah, he really likes it.
We'll call him your sweet and spicy mix from now on.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us and having us over. And
That was too fun.
maybe one of these times, maybe we should sit in different spots. Like, I'm wondering if we make Doug and your dad switch or something, if there's just a universal switch that's necessary that will change up the cards. I don't get it.
My mom's even there kind of helping to distract them with like conversation and other things, and it just doesn't.
Maybe she distracts us too.
I had not considered that. But I mean, we play a good game. Like, we peg a lot. It's really strong. I don't feel like there's a lot of mistakes being made, so I don't know what it is.
I have no words for it. I literally said to Doug last night, why can I beat you at home and Tina and I cannot beat you and her dad? Like, we literally had the conversation last night at the kitchen table. So
did he have an answer? Did he have a thought?
No. Other than he said, maybe Tina's not pulling her weight. And I said, maybe John's pulling you along.
He said that? He said, I'm not pulling my weight? Oh, man.
He's going to be so mad. You're an epic player, and I love playing with you guys, and I can't wait till next time.
Yeah, ditto. You know, and you were talking about how we laugh so much. So, and you made these great snacks, like we just saw the sweet and spicy. And then you brought a Pine River Dairy, like
butter dish.
A butter dish. We're holding a pound of butter, and it comes with this cover and this knife. Tell us more.
Yep. So this butter dish, if you've ever been out at the store, Pine River Dairy, they have 1 pound butter dishes. So we believe in butter. We like counter butter where it's ready to spread. And it comes with this cover for the dish. Now, we do not use this at home because we apparently like our butter accessible. But I brought it along because it worked out great because we had goat cheese with cranberries and stuff in it. And it had this little serving knife, right? Super cool. Then
take the knife out. Oh, no.
My girls think this is the funniest cover that has ever existed because of the shape that the knife goes in. So, you know, maybe this is like one of those like psychiatrist diagrams where you have to look at it and see what you see in it.
All right, viewers, what do you see in it? Rocky, can you write us a haiku about this?
Teak did not buy into the Teak didn't buy into it. He was like, no, that's not what it looks like.
Yeah. You know, he just recently graduated. He just graduated from college with his bachelor's in human biology, right? So proud of this kid. I mean, it was hard not to cry over the weekend when he did. But so he takes it really literally, right? Like looking at that, like, this doesn't, it's not in accordance with like human biological standards, right?
That's correct. Excuse me, something looks a little off there. Can we just pause for a minute and give a shout out to Teak? So he is 20 years old.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, 19. And just graduated from UWGB with his biology degree. He's a rising phoenix from Lincoln, but like, what an incredible accomplishment for him. I can't even imagine the pride that you guys feel watching him graduate from college with his bachelor's degree.
It was so cool. And the surprise was at graduation, he graduated cum laude. So he hadn't even told us that. You know, like I knew his courses were, you know, challenging. And I know that he was like, okay, I think I did okay. I think I did okay. But he wasn't like, hey, I'm killing it.
Yes.
So all of a sudden he like comes down. He doesn't have the chords on in this picture, but he had like the cum laude chords and the announcement. I was like, wow.
That's incredible. So he was kind of bluffing you is what I'm hearing.
I guess he just didn't make a thing of it.
Yeah. I love that. It's okay to be humble. Like, what a cool place for him to be in his life, to be able to, you know, think about what he wants to do and just have such a huge milestone already behind him. So kudos, Teak. We're super proud of you and excited for you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where this kid goes. Hey, so we were talking about haiku briefly, and I wanted to rewind to 2 weeks ago because Rocky Cohen had written us a quick haiku, and I just want to repeat it because she wrote, "Cream swirls in coffee while Tina and Kristin lift us to morning joy." So beautiful. So we talked about that. And then you, Kristin, said, all right, I'm going to try my hand at writing a haiku. And we had just talked about 100 women plus who care. So here's Kristin's haiku. You want to read it?
Yes, 100 women giving money for a cause, lots of love and joy.
Very nice. So then you did something unique and you asked ChatGPT to do the same thing, which, by the way, side note, I just read an article about ChatGPT. In French is chat GPT, which if you translate it means the cat farted or something like that. So every time they're talking about ChatGPT, they're getting a little giggle, kind of like we got a giggle of the butter dish cover.
I feel like those are one of those things that somebody should have cross-checked internationally before they did it, right?
Right. So ChatGPT came up with this one if you want to read it.
Yeah. So what I did was I literally just pasted in the website for Manitowoc County 100 plus women and said, write a haiku based on this. So it said, hearts joined in purpose, giving strength to those in need, community thrives. And then it gives a summary. This haiku reflects the organization's mission to unite women in supporting local nonprofits through collective giving. I was like, dang.
Yeah, totally nailed it.
Agreed. So,
but which you had as well, right? Like I thought your haiku was just as powerful. So it's really interesting that there's no one correct answer when it comes to haiku.
Correct. All haiku is good haiku, isn't it? Give us an example of a bad haiku.
Well, no, I wouldn't want to call somebody out like that, but I do want to give an example of another good haiku. It looks like Rocky shared one with us. I like my butter, soft and supple, spreadable. Knife must be so hard. Bravo.
Oh, Rocky, that is naughty. I love it.
And just off the cuff, right? Like she's had just moments to think about that and post it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Rocky's actually collaborating with me on an upcoming event, and she's going to kind of interview the people that walk up to the table and give them a custom haiku on the spot. So, Rocky, thank you again. I'm so excited to partner with you and use your poem writing talents in a cool way.
How cool is that to go to an event and get a little custom haiku?
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome?
So practicing this morning, she's really sharpening her knife in preparation of that.
That's right. You can't be soft in the moment.
Good morning, miho. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Good morning, miho.
It says good morning in Japanese.
Oh, man. Again, 9 o'clock at night, right? 11 o'clock at night. I'm so amazed. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, actually, konbanwa. I'm surprised you're not sleeping, miho. Wow.
All right, Tina, what else do we have in the picture arsenal today? I can't remember.
What do we have? Well, I thought this was kind of interesting. I saw this post and this is like a snapshot of a newspaper article from like ages ago. And it says bigger, better cuss words advocated by professor. Gadzooks and zounds have lost their power, he says. All emphasis gone.
So gadzooks and zounds were swear words, cuss words?
I think so. I mean, I think by the time we've heard of them, and like I don't know anybody that uses those words now, but they were kind of like I think I'm familiar with them from Scooby-Doo, right? Like it seems like something the gang would say, like "Zounds, Scoob," you know. But based on this article, I think that once upon a time it was strong.
Oh, gadzooks. I feel like I have to look them up to understand what context they need to get used in.
Yeah, I think gadzooks is like something like if we were going to say like holy cow, right? Like
gadzooks.
And then zounds is more of like a wow or something. But I'm only spitballing here based on how it makes me feel.
Gadzooks, it says, is an expression of surprise or shock. So like, holy gadzooks.
And does it say like what it comes from? Like was the gad originally like God and zooks like
Man, you nailed it, Tina. English. God hooks and gad. Oh, wow. Holy cow. Late 17th century. Alteration of God's hooks, the nails by which Christ was fastened to the cross. Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
And so was it considered like an expletive? Was it a cuss word?
I'm seeing like an expression of shock, an interjection.
Interjection.
It says the earliest evidence of for gadzooks is from before 1652.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like, if a kid said gadzooks, would they get their mouth washed out with
probably.
1600 era soap?
I don't know. What would be the punishment in the 1600s?
Cindy said zoinks from Scooby-Doo is also great fun. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it says it was a popular expression in the 1600s. It's believed to be the shortened form of a religious exclamation, possibly God's hooks or God's hocks, referring to the nails of Christ's cross.
So pretty
Wow.
strong to invoke that, especially back then, I would imagine.
Yes.
Probably not uttered in polite company.
Yes. Yep.
All right. What about zounds?
Okay, let's see here.
I don't even know if I have a guess for that one.
It's Zounds, right? While I'm looking this up, I think you should try to use it. And yeah, flogging. Do you think flogging your kids?
Yeah. Oof.
Zounds, this is in slang. It's a mild oath indicating surprise. So it's kind of the same. It's a Renaissance word meaning God's wounds, which is interesting because the other one was a reference to God's hooks. So they kind of go together.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So Rocky said they say a culture's cuss words derive from that which the culture holds in highest esteem. So for Americans, sex and religion.
Uh-huh. Makes so much sense.
Thank you for that astute comment, Rocky.
Yep. The word zounds is actually in Romeo and Juliet.
Does it say how? Like who
A
uses
minced
it?
oath, a shortened version of God's wounds. It's used as a mild exclamation or expression of surprise, kind of similar to good heavens or good grief. It's an archaic way of expressing emotion or emphasis without resorting to full blasphemy.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's why it's kind of changed a little. That's why, like, instead of saying
Correct.
God's hooks outright, you'd say gadzooks.
Or zounds. Yeah,
Yeah.
zounds was kind of the shorter version of it.
Zounds, the weather is just miserable today. Like, does that work?
Yes.
Can you say
Right.
that?
So instead of saying God's hooks, you're referencing the wounds. Very, very interesting.
So Rocky asks, how do Japanese people cuss? It's interesting because, like if you watch Japanese anime, there are certain words, like they'll call people stupid or things like that. But oftentimes in Japanese, it's even more subtle because it's such a hierarchical language base that if you don't use the polite, proper form, you're actually insulting somebody.
Ah, got it. Does that mean like if we say yeah versus yes, that
Right.
would be like an example of that?
Right, right. Like you're showing disrespect by
Yeah.
not using the proper form.
Or thanks versus thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Great question though, Rocky. Great question. And
What a
I
cool-
would actually possibly tell you some of the words, but we definitely have a Japanese viewer today too, so I don't want to offend anyone. Gadzooks, that would not go well.
Rocky, ask ChatGPT.
It's interesting in Japanese. There's a word and it's yabai. And when some of the students came recently, I kept hearing them use it, and I've heard it in anime. But sometimes it seems like it's a really good thing, and sometimes it seems like it's a really bad thing. And I said, "Wait a second, explain what is happening here with this word." And they said, "Yeah, it's like if something's really great, it's the equivalent of saying awesome, or something's the opposite of something's terrible. It's like saying like zounds, that was terrible." Right?
Mhm.
So it can be used both ways, but it depends on context.
Right. I mean, I think the same could be said for some of the swear words like holy blank, right? Like that can be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And that can be like, oh my gosh.
Right, right. Exactly. Or even the word terrible, like, like, "Oh, that was so terribly nice of you to do that," right? Or, "That was terribly frightening that that happened," right? Like, it could go both ways.
I don't feel like I use an adjective like that when I'm talking. I'm going to start. The next time I see you in person, I'm going to use the word terribly in a positive way.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's not used so much anymore. Like, I feel like I used to hear it more. Or even the word terrific. Terrific has a really positive sound to me,
Mm.
but I think the base of terrific is terror.
Ooh. What does ific mean?
Like
Or
the
fic?
most, the
The most hair. Interesting. Now I
okay.
feel like we need to research this and get the answers, but not right now because we don't want to bore our viewers with so much language that their brains start melting out of their ears.
Oh, gadzooks, that would not be good. That would be terrible. Okay, Kristen, you shared this. We were talking about food. We were talking about Teek's graduation. This is about hitting your fat loss goals at graduations, weddings, and other social events.
Yeah,
Tell us
so
more.
I have to give a shout out to Ashley Holly. She's a local nutritionist right here in Manitowoc. She coaches under a company called Ace Nutrition, which I worked with for a couple of years, but they just put this out and I thought it was so good. Okay, put your fork down between bites. Do you do that, Tina?
Only when I think about it in context of something like this.
Yeah, right? Like if I am being really mindful, I might, but like this is something definitely that I know I need to practice.
I catch
Uh,
myself not doing that all the time.
do you?
Even just not cutting the next bite until you finish the bite
Mm.
is hard to do.
Yeah, like you're chewing and you're already going in to work. Yeah, 100%. Okay, then the next one is to chew thoroughly.
And if you don't understand, the subtext is chew thoroughly.
Just in case you didn't get it the first time. I think I've heard that this is like you should chew your food 20 times. If you try to do this, it is very hard. So maybe that's the challenge for today is to thoroughly chew and see how it feels.
And you
See
think
if you're
that's like
more
20
present.
times?
Yeah, I
That's a
don't
good
know.
goal.
Give
Okay.
it a shot. I love this tip. This is one of my favorites. Front load protein, fiber, and colorful food. So what that means is the first time you go through, especially graduation parties, it tends to just kind of be buffet style. Hit the protein, hit the veggies, hit the fruits, like all the color. And then the second time you go through, maybe grab some small bites of some of those other things you might want to try. So I just love the idea of like, I'm going to kind of fill up on the good stuff first, which leaves less room, unless we're committed to overeating, in which case it doesn't matter, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I noticed it doesn't include cake in that list.
Nope, no cake on that list.
And what happened? Did they give up? There's no subtext on this one.
No, pretty straightforward. I know I should have, we should have, I was the subtext that time. Okay, using the plate method. So the yellow side, what do you think is in there?
Okay, is the green vegetables or is the yellow?
Green is not vegetables.
Okay, so I'm guessing that the biggest side is veggies.
Okay.
And then one of the smaller pies is meat or protein. And
Yep.
one of the other small ones is, I don't know, cake?
There's a clue in the cupcake. Yeah.
Oh.
Starch. So your carbohydrates.
Oh.
So half the plate should be all your color. So veggies, fruits, salad, whatever. And then a quarter, like the size of your palm is protein. And then the other one is carbohydrates. Now, I don't think this is intended that a cupcake goes in that spot. I think probably like some more complex carbs would be in that spot, like rice or potatoes with the peeling on, or, something where your body has to like work at it. And then the last one says just practice value-based guidelines around alcohol and desserts. So the idea is I'm going to enjoy something like a Scotch rhubarb that I really love, and then I'm going to leave the rest alone because I really don't want to spend calories on food that I don't actually enjoy. Some people just find themselves nibbling because it's right there and not because it's really delicious or because they really enjoy it. So pick the one or two things that you really love and be mindful and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Recently, I've been trying to pay attention, like when I take a bite of something, am I getting the flavor of it? And I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that when I do that, when I really try to like taste something, let that fill my mouth, it slows me down,
Right.
right? Like instead of shoving the next bite in, it's like lingers for a little while. So that almost helps you accomplish chew thoroughly and eating slowly.
Absolutely. And then you like your brain has time to process on like, do I really like this? Is it really like hitting on the notes of the things that I enjoy the most? And if it's not, then you don't eat it. You don't have to eat it, and um so often I think we talked about this at a women's summit a couple of years ago, but like mindful eating and just being really present. And so often we're like running around and shoving things in our mouth throughout the day because we're trying to get from one thing to another. And so yeah, I just thought it's definitely a season of social eating and events and all kinds of things in the summer. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this with our friends.
Yeah, useful. And it's also interesting to think about like, so the practice value-based guidelines, so often like a soda or a sugared drink is available. And we can't forget that that has calories too. So like,
Yes,
do you want a soda? That's cool, but then maybe don't have the cupcake too, right? Like
that's correct.
make sure you factor that
Or
in.
in this example too, we have like a glass of wine and a cupcake. Okay, if I'm going to have one, if I'm going to make a choice, like which one are you going to enjoy more? Which one, you know, am I going to limit myself on? Or which one's more triggering for me to have more? Maybe we say no to something because we just know, like, oh man, if I like chips for me, if I eat Doritos, especially Cool Ranch, it is over. I want the whole bag, right? So, like, I sometimes just don't eat any because then I don't start. And so it's just good to know kind of your value system and like, what do I really want to do? And if I'm going to have one treat, then I'm going to pick that one thing I really love.
It's good to know that that's a trigger for you and that you have the willpower to resist it if you can.
Yeah. What's a trigger for you? What's one of your just like favorite things that you just can't?
Well, chip related, like when we have chips and dip, like a French onion dip,
Mm,
I notice it's hard to just like, oh, I enjoyed this one. And then all of a sudden it's like 20 or 30 chips later. It's like, why am I still eating this?
yes.
Right? It just keeps pulling you back, keeps pulling you back.
Yeah. And if you're anything like, then the first two categories kind of go away. I'm not eating them slowly. I'm eating them quickly. I'm not chewing them all the way. I just kind of want that, there's like a fat salt combination there that's so satisfying. And yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, I used to have that issue a lot more with chocolate. Like if there were
Mm,
chocolates, right? Like just rah, rah, rah. And I've gotten a lot better about that. Like, okay, that was good. I'm done.
yep. Yeah. I'm a big fan during the week. A lot of times I'll eat dark chocolate covered almonds in a serving. I just know a serving is 7. And that's pretty much a handful. And if I just grab that and like I take them with me a lot of times to go pick up the kids, it's just like the perfect amount and they make me happy. And it's a little boost of stuff, little protein, a little bit of sugar to get through the middle kind of part of the day. And um,
Yeah. Well, and this, Kristen, this delightful sweet and spicy Chex Mix that you made was really hard to stop eating. Like the next morning, I had it for breakfast, but it's funny because I was picking out all of the little Chex and eating those, and Jason was picking out all of the pecans and eating those. And all of a sudden, we just had a bunch of pretzels left.
I was just saying, who ate the pretzels then? No, but this is a good point. This is one of those things that I almost have to like grab a little plate or a bowl and give myself a serving and put the cover back on the Tupperware container because I will just that and a Diet Coke is like so good. And you guys, just so you know, this recipe I got from Dawn Schrader, by the way. If any of you know Dawn, she's fabulous. But when you first take a bite of this, it's sweet, kind of like caramel corn and salty. And then as you kind of chew through the bite, you get this little bit of warmth in the back of your throat from cayenne pepper. And so it gets warm. And then it's just like rinse and repeat. You grab another handful, you get the sweet and the salty hit, you wait, you get the warmth, and it's just so good.
It is so good. Yeah, I cannot wait to make a batch of it.
So I'm
But
glad you enjoyed it.
like you said, single serving bowls are really your friend when confronted with something like this. Because right, it's just like chomp, 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 chomp. Goes down so easy.
Oh, so do you still have pretzels left?
Yeah, but now they're beyond like now they're like, if you taste them, you can tell they're not the freshest anymore.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I get it. Bummer. Doug loves eating the crumbs on ice cream.
oh, that's a great idea.
He likes whatever's left in the bottom of the bowl. He loves to like just sprinkle over some vanilla ice.
Hey, I just wanted to make one last point about this. The use the plate method, where it's got a section of carbs. I think that that's valuable to remind ourselves because I know a lot of people, recognize you don't want to overdo carbs, but then take that a little too far, as in no carbs. But, my human biology graduate was telling me we need carbs. Like we can't cut them out completely. It's not a good idea.
We need good carbs. Yeah, you need things. It's fuel for your body. This is one of the things I've learned with working with a nutritionist is we need fuel. We need things like oats and grains and things that our body can work through. We need the fiber, honestly. And that when we eat some of that stuff, then that also introduces us an opportunity to drink water. And they're the building blocks of how our bodies work. So, yeah.
Gadzooks, Kristin, this was a great conversation.
Time went too fast again. Friends, put in over here. The comments are over here on my page. If you have a favorite snack or a snack that you can't stop eating, drop it in the comments and Tina and I will take a peek this week and we can chat about it next week on the show.
And if you're really feeling creative, write a haiku about it and share it.
Ooh, there we go.
Thanks everybody for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. You've been watching Coffee with Kristin and Tina. This is Kristin Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. We'll see you next time.